It's preaching to the choir.
And I am Van.
And I'm your host, SJ West. Today is Carnival weekend in Miami.
Yeah, I'm feeling Jamaican.
You know, I'm feeling Trinidadian.
Trini. Getting a lot of money. Exactly. A lot of jobs. You know, the Jamaicans got a lot of jobs.
Lots of jobs.
So speaking of different cultures and whatnot, today's topic shall be
White Lives Matter.
Yep. So it's no secret this has been a real big deal in the last few days. Mm-hmm. Normally we do not touch on current events or celebrity gossip topics and everything, but this has started a lot of conversation and many different views. So we're just gonna get into some things, discuss it, talk our feelings on the whole White Lives Matter movement, started by no other than Kanye West.
That's right, Kanye West. And just to speak a little bit on Kanye West, I love Kanye West. Van loves Kanye West. Hell, I named my son Kanye.
Yes, he's my favorite entertainer, celebrity, artist, designer, etc. Well, I wouldn't say designer, but I mean, pretty much innovator.
Yeah, for sure. And he's definitely, everybody would agree that he is definitely a genius, thinks outside the box, and,
he's a visionary.
We'd like to, a visionary, but we'd like to say that he, thinks above our time. But at this point, he thinking at the times that we need. I feel at least we got different views on this topic, so we're gonna dive right into it.
So to start, I want to know, what do you think of White Lives Matter? Because I already saw your Instagram story, so you agree. But I want to know, first of all, what do you feel the message is? Mm-hmm. Do you feel like the message is clear? You accept it, like it? Speak on the whole, what you see.
I feel the message is extremely clear because he's pointing out the obvious, as he said. And a lot of people may not understand that, because I heard on the radio this morning, Power 96, that was, okay, we pointing out the obvious, but what does that mean? And for me, pointing out the obvious is he doesn't need to wear a shirt that says Black Lives Matter, because he's done that before. We've all done it as Black people, but we have not seen, the shirt that says White Lives Matter. Now, do I feel like it was unnecessary? Not really, because only because, yes, it may wake up certain things in certain people, but that will expose, the way I feel, that will expose a lot of things that should have already been exposed and that we thought was done, over and done with, but it's still rolling on. Slavery is still rolling on. Also, what was the other question you asked?
Because you answered the first one. Well, I want to know, what was the point? What was the message he trying to say? Because you said the obvious, but you still ain't state what the obvious was.
Okay, so the obvious is that White Lives Matter, and everybody already knows White Lives Matter. That's the obvious.
Oh, okay, so that's what you felt like he meant by that?
I didn't. I felt like he was a publicity stunt he was pulling, because I felt like he thought it would be a joke, and he said it was a joke. And is he still moving forward with the t-shirts? Like, for example, Puff Daddy wanted to run up on him and said whatever words he said with him, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't great words by Kanye saying "fuck you, Puff Daddy." Is done.
I don't know. We can't judge by Kanye's responses, because he's been a little off lately.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I doubt Puff was running down to whack something, but then again, they said Puff did. Did he slap Drake? I saw the story.
That's what they said. He slapped Drake, and they said he had the Pac. So I don't know.
He's from New York. You gotta watch him.
but what I just honestly feel that it needed to be put out at this time, because a lot of people may not know that there are people in the world who don't see an issue with wearing that shirt, and I feel there should be an issue with wearing that shirt, because we all should know that, so we don't need that shirt. So when they did the Blue Lives Matter and the All Lives Matter shirts, we already knew that shit. You know what I'm saying? We already knew that white lives mattered, so we didn't need to point that out. But now that the Black Lives Matter movement got exposed and all these things like that, then yes, it's the perfect time to come out with a movement, something like White Lives Matter, so people can see that it actually does not need a movement. And now we're going to get more and more people to get educated as to why it does not need a movement. So it's kind of like you got to the way that I feel like the world works in media and social media and all this stuff like that we have now, you kind of got to trick people. So I feel like Kanye kind of trying to do a reverse psychology to get people to wake up a little bit by him wearing the shirt that says White Lives Matter. Because he also said his dad was a Black Panther, one of the original Black Panthers. And his dad laughed at the shirt. I'm not in Kanye's head, but that's just how I feel as a, Kanye fan. And I'm not defending him. However, that's just my perspective on it.
So you think the message was that, like, I guess satire or like irony of like, okay, Black Lives Matter is a failure. The organization, because we're gonna break it. I want to get into that.
Yes, we do.
And his thing is that, just so I'm correct. So
and his name is Ye, not Ye. People. It's not Ye.
Who been saying Ye?
This Liz lady, the Liz lady who was going in saying that Black police officers don't shoot Black people and they never did. That's all a lie.
It based on the lie that white police officers are inherently racist, that law enforcement is systemically white supremacist, that they target Black people for being Black, that they shoot Black people for being Black, and that they get away with doing this. None of that is true. It's been roundly debunked. Not only are police forces not systemically racist, it is not a white supremacist structure or institution. There have been analyses that show that police officers are actually less likely to use lethal force against a Black person because they fear the backlash of the Black Lives Matter movement. They are more likely to fatally shoot a white person in similar circumstances than a Black person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm going to play
the clip. Go ask George Floyd. Let's go ask him. Oh.
Yeah, because that was
we can.
film.
I mean,
it was on film.
Who we got a name that's not here no more. But
I don't know.
Okay, okay. So basically, the message is that you think that he's sending the message that obviously White Lives Matter and it's like satire. Is that what you would say?
Yes, I would say that.
But then he's still selling the shirt for profit.
He is selling the shirt for profit, and who you believe is going to buy the shirt? Because I did see Mos Def wearing the shirt with.
See, and that's my problem. So I'm going to get into how I see it. I feel like Kanye West is a visionary. He is a creative genius. But I feel like more than anything, he loves attention. Mm-hmm. He wanted to go viral.
Oh, yeah.
Bottom line. And I think that I'm going to get into it in order. First and foremost, I feel like this shirt shouldn't have been created. I feel like it's irresponsible as a Black man to create it. Only because... it's a thing, right? You create something. I'll give you a prime example. And I think the lady Gabby or who tried to blast on Instagram spoke on that. But when he did the whole red hat thing, ironically, I have on a red hat now. Mm-hmm. And Make America Great Again had been seen, as an underground kind of like racist thing. Mm-hmm. When it was a big thing where everybody's wearing their hats, people saw it as low-key racist. I think majority of minorities found it to be, racially motivated. Yeah. But they couldn't really call on it because it's like, oh, I'm just supporting Trump. But Make America Great Again for some people, especially when you're talking against immigration and many laws that seem to be, against minorities, then you're wearing a hat with it. It seems to be a racially motivated thing. But I feel like when Kanye wore the red hat, it took power away from it. Because it's a Black man wearing it. Although people was outraged with that as well, I think that kind of didn't go over people's head as much. But now him creating a shirt that says White Lives Matter,
power into it.
I feel like that gives steam and gets the ball rolling for a lot of low-key racists to wear that shirt. Because first of all, Kanye price point is out of the reach for a lot of let's just say your average or subpar income person, which we all know that minorities mostly fall into the lower end of income in the United States. Yeah. So when you create this shirt, it's a thing where you may have a vision, because I'm still not sure on what he meant And I had many different theories, and you had your theory on what he was trying to say. But all I do know is that you're creating a shirt that says White Lives Matter, and it's not like debunking the Make America Great Again slogan. You are really pissed and exposing the Black Lives Matter organization, but the difference is Black Lives Matter is a movement as well, aside from the organization. And the Black Lives Matter movement is stating what I find to be obvious, and most people find to be obvious, that Black lives, okay, everybody lives matter. We know white, green, blue, everybody lives matter, blue, whatever, police, white people, Native Americans, Asians. Everybody goes through their different ups and downs and ways they're discriminated against, even white people. However, Black Lives Matter, the movement, we're not talking about organization, the movement has pushed for people to realize that we too do matter, which is mainly highlighted because of the systemic racism, the things Black people are going through, the obvious prejudice, and things like look how lopsided it is, how many of young Black men get killed at the hands of cops versus young white men. You got the Parkland shooter. You know how many terrorists, as far as I'm concerned, have been in schools shooting up 20, 30 kids, get arrested with their hands up clean. You got Black people getting shot in their back when they're dealing with police. So I feel like when you create something that says White Lives Matter, the racist people or the people with, this gives this highlights and gives people the easy way out of being able to buy and support this shirt without any justification, any accountability. The racist people who've been saying, oh no, it's not just Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter. We know they matter. Y'all not getting knocked out in the streets like that. We know y'all not getting arrested at the same rate for the same crimes. Y'all not getting sentenced the same way that Black people are. Thus forth, we do know that. But Black Lives Matter is just highlighting that we deserve better. And so when you debunk the organization, you need to keep that separate from, the general Black Lives Matter is a scam. The organization, sure, they took 80 million in last year. Who knows when everybody that worked for the bitch got $5 million houses. Yeah. So it's clear as day they swiping. Yeah. It's a big scam. But I feel like when you're gonna have a lot of white people, well, I ain't gonna say white people, racist people in general, whether mostly white, because the shirt say White Lives Matter. I was trying to be nice about it. But you're gonna have racist white people who've been ready to debunk Black Lives Matter, wearing the shirts, walking around, and you can't call them on it because the first thing they're gonna say is, "Oh, a Black man created it." You don't know why they wearing it, because Kanye don't even know why he put it out. If the truth be told,
correct.
So I feel like it's irresponsible.
Yeah, I definitely feel it was irresponsible of him to do that, because now that you say that, it could be a long-term effect to this. For example, when the families were getting together who brought these slave ships to, from Europe to Africa to bring them to America. There was, because this can be compared to that only because when they brought this to Queen Elizabeth at the time, she said, what could this do to these Black people later on in the future, to their souls? So, she went a little deeper with it. And then once he started showing her the profits that could be made, she was like, oh, okay, let me get me a ship, sign me up for Ship Mary, and sign me up for this ship too. With that being said, I feel like Kanye knows in the back of his mind that this could revolutionary change something, really shift something in the world that I don't know what he exactly got in his mind that he think is gonna shift. But it could get ugly, like you said. It could be really ugly. And sometimes I feel like it also have to get ugly before it could get better. It got to get worse before it could get better. So maybe he thinks that this is going to bring some type of positive outcome after the negative outcome. You know what I'm saying? So, but I do feel like it's irresponsible because he feel like he could put certain things in his hands, and also running for president, we can't be moving like that. But then when we got leaders like Donald Trump pretty much moving the same way, because do you feel that Donald Trump would have created a shirt that said White Lives Matter?
No, he wouldn't. I think he knows better. I think Kanye is just honestly, I love him down. Like if I had one celebrity I can meet, hang out with, be friend, whatever it is, it'll be Kanye West. Work for, work under, work with, learn from, any capacity to be Kanye West, but truly, and I resonate with that because I like attention too. Kanye West lives for attention more than anything, and it was obvious. And I don't know, we'll probably pull it up on the screen. I'm sure everybody been tuned in with what's going on. But when he did the story post with the black and white words, when he said, "Oh, it was also Fashion Week. It was all these designers came out, but everybody was talking about my T-shirt. You know, just my little old T-shirt." And then towards the end, like, psych, yeah, my T-shirt is the only thing important. He was being arrogant. He was reaching for that and flexing his power and his influence because he knows he's very, very influential. And then I also think that it doesn't go over well when Kanye West does things like this because keep in mind he has a history of not even dating black women. He and most of his associates, including his wife and her family, they are Caucasians. So I think it also doesn't sit well with people because if he was married to a black woman, not that it should matter, but I'm telling you how people realistically think.
We want to take time to give thanks to our sponsor, SJ Digitals, for providing audio and visuals for this podcast. SJ Digitals specializes in event photography and studio portraits. Book services today. You could visit www.sjdigitals.com for more information. That's www.sjdigitals.com for more information.
Oh my God. You okay? Yeah, if he was married to a black woman or, was more in touch with his black side of family from what we can see. We don't know what he does behind closed doors. However, it seems to be that he has distanced himself from black people in general. And if the truth really be told, he talks different than when he first came out. Like, it's a lot of things that stand out. I hate to say it, but he seems more aligned with, white culture, white creators, white everything. Although he preaches black. But,
like he in the sunken place almost, like they said. Yeah, they said a few years back, and he even said he was in the sunken place in his music.
Yeah, it's given like Get Out Part 2. So with that being said, when you do these things, it doesn't read the same way as like Jay-Z did it. I think people will give Jay-Z the time of day to even try to figure out what he meant. But I also feel like it was an attention grab because you see how he went after the fact and had this elaborate explanation that kind of close to made sense, even though I feel like it's irresponsible. Mm-hmm. It still was, okay, now you want to explain yourself because you finally got the attention you wanted. Because at the end of the day, Kanye West that's what he loves. He loves the attention. He loves the shock factor. And sometimes with being a revolutionary or being an innovator, being such an innovative person, sometimes you do need that bad press. Sometimes you need those things to take you over the top. But I think he does it quite often, and it's like obvious he does it before albums. He does it around his fashion. He does it and it's the difference between the little creative, like out the box things he do, like the clothes in the trash bag, or the mini stunts he's pulled. This is next level because you're in the middle of all these different, basically wars. I call them damn near civil wars amongst people, and I mean that we're kind of on the brink of a race war. You see all the riots we had. This was all behind black men being attacked, black men being unjustly killed, just all these different things, and also no type of repercussions to the officers. We're just now seeing a tiny bit of justice with Breonna Taylor. You see, so I feel like as a big voice that he is and a heavyweight in the industry and an influencer of many people, not only black but white, I feel like it sends out the wrong message because a lot of people who are racist are not reading all of that. They're not getting into all of that. They've been ready for a reason to go against Black Lives Matter, not because the movement took money and bought houses, not because the actual organization is a scam, allegedly. No, it's because I've been ready to promote white supremacy, and now I finally can, because guess what? A black man gave me the okay to do it, and I'm gonna wear it outside with my goddamn cowboy boots and my chewing tobacco, bitch. And what you gonna tell me? I'm not racist, huh? Like it's setting up a very bad vibe that I don't like, and Kanye West is just, to me, irresponsible for putting that out. Bottom line.
Yes, you know what's so damn sad and true, because what you just said is so correct. And we don't always like to believe, for people like myself and people like you who do not have any issue with whatever color someone is or the color of their skin, we will be friends with them, we will date them, we don't discriminate. So it's yeah, all colors and flavors. But it's so sad that when we feel that way as, mostly millennials and things like that, and newer generations obviously have different thoughts, unless they are, raised around racist people. But even then, when they're raised around racist people, you have the kids now exposing their racist parents and their racist ways on social media, TikTok, like the one that went viral when the girl parent was saying, black people, they just want to be ghetto, and she's like, no, they don't. Like, what I'm saying?
I got that video saved in my phone.
Yeah, we showed them that. Yeah, because she's like, no, they don't. Like, I know black people, and then that's not how they are. And the more, we all...
No, shut up.
No.
Can you shut your mouth for a minute?
No.
Because I actually work in the ghetto. I see the people.
Do you know why they're in that
Go and I
position?
see these people.
Do you understand the systematic
They
and
get all
historical
kinds
reason
of
for why they're in
chances,
that
and
position?
They don't care. All they want to do is be ghetto.
No.
Yes, there's
No.
some that don't, and there's good people. And then
No.
most of them just want to suck off the system or do something bad like drugs or gangs. And that's all they
They
care
have
about.
been oppressed. They have
It
not been
doesn't
given
matter.
the
They
same
get the
opportunities
chances.
you have
Yes,
had.
they do, and there's plenty of black people.
No, they
There's
don't,
plenty of-
Dad.
there's plenty of
And you not
minorities.
recognizing that as an issue is the reason why it's still continuing today.
I see them all over. There's all kinds of successful people that are of color. It doesn't matter what color, brown, white.
But it's a lot
orange,
harder for
yellow.
them to get to that
It doesn't
position.
matter. When they do, they're fine. But there's always filthy animals. And that
You're
is-
calling people of color black
No.
animals. You're calling them animals.
I'm talking. You didn't
Are
let me
you
finish.
kidding me?
You didn't let me finish.
That's not
I'm
okay.
talking about the
No,
children
no
part,
matter what,
too.
that's not okay. No matter what, it's
It
not
is
okay.
okay.
Racism is not okay. Why do you think that racism is okay?
Oh, that's mine.
Really, I'm gonna look at. No, I'm looking at
That's
statistics
my
right
medal. I
now.
gotta get a necklace.
Your statistics they can be warped. Statistics can be warped. You want me to show you videos?
So why are my?
Do you want me to show you videos of cops?
Why is?
I
Why
will
are
do
my
it.
Statistics wrong.
Because they
Yours
can
are
be
right.
warped. I'm not giving statistics right now. They can be warped. Personal experiences can't.
No, because this is actually putting it into play. When you.
Wearing it?
Do I need to show you a bunch of videos of cops attacking protesters, peaceful
All you do
protesters?
is watch
Listen,
that
listen
shit.
to this. This is the number.
You mean I'm informed and educated?
You're not though. You're,
Yes, I am.
You're one-sided informed.
Mom, I was watching political stuff and you said to turn that off because you don't want to hear about it.
Because
That
I'm
means that
sick
I
of
am
hearing it.
educated
I'm
on it and
sick
you
of
are not.
hearing it. I'm sick of hearing it.
The fact that you can have that ignorance,
Really, I'm-
ignorance for the majority is bliss.
Okay, so-
Ignorance for the minority
So I'm
is
looking at statistics
destruction.
that are wrong.
Like we said on the interracial dating, the more we intertwine, the more we get to know about each other. Hell, back in the day, it was like a thing, in the early 19th centuries. Well, before even then, when we all were here as Indians, Black Indians, and all these Black Americans, whatever you want to call it, we didn't see race. And when they did start the race, then that's when they started saying, okay, so all people who got a little pigment in their skin are ethnic people now. So we're going to start making the, back in the 70s, 60s, whatever, they started blending in people, ethnic now. And then now that's another topic where then they started making us identify ourselves as African American and, just separating us more and more and wanted us to be separate, which this was white supremacy.
Rather
doing
than
this.
kidnapped from Africa.
Exactly.
It's just giving African.
Exactly. It's just giving African.
Stolen Africans.
Stolen Africans. Oh no, we shouldn't be doing that. But
That's what it was.
But it was the stolen
and
Africans.
sorry to cut you off too. And think about for every little thing that goes viral, like the white kids exposing their racist parents, etc. I mean, there's Black racist people too. Just note that.
Oh, yes,
but
for
as
sure.
far as that, for every conversation like that goes public, imagine the many behind the scenes
Behind the
ones.
scenes.
The ones that don't go public, the ones that agree with it, the ones who won't speak
The
up.
ones that say the
Those-
N-word in their houses and don't say it outside the house.
Yeah,
yes.
and those are the people who gonna buy that White Lives Matter shirt. And those are the people that happy that Kanye finally validated how they've been feeling.
And let's just share that because we spoke on this privately. I want to let the people know this because we definitely want to let the people know out there in the world that we are the ones who keep the racism up, because the way that I was raised, the way that my friend Van here was raised, we weren't allowed to say the N-word.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A white family or even a Spanish family who knows the background of the N-word, and as parents, you allow your children to say it. I was just listening on the Breakfast Club, Rolling, I forgot his name. I be having Rolling Ravenmine on my name all the time.
Say Rolling Ray was on
No,
there?
Rolling somebody. He's like an activist, and he was on there saying that he doesn't, he hasn't used the word, the N-word in 20 or 30 years or something like that. But he, grew up saying it and said it all the time because Charlamagne was saying he can't stop saying it. He was like, because when you see him just doing some nigga shit, like he's like, you just gotta call him nigga. He's like, no, you don't. You could just say that's some bullshit. But at the end of the day, like if it's embedded, like in us, and we just in your vocabulary, that's just what it is, And you have people who are not even trying to say it in a derogatory manner, but are saying, that's my nigga. You know what I'm saying? As my boyfriend or my man, you know what I'm saying? That's
Or my homeboy.
Or my homeboy, and it could be any race, because
So I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So do you think it's okay for non-black people, whether they white, Hispanic, anything other than African, stolen Africans, anything other than African American, if that's what we're calling it, to use the N-word? That's soft A or hard ER? Nigger, a nigga. Do you feel like it's, what you think?
Regardless of the fact, for me personally, the word does not hold the value that it used to hold. And since they now changed the definition of the word nigger.
Who changed it?
That's what I'm wondering, because apparently when you go in the dictionaries, updated dictionaries or Google, then the definition is changed to an insult to black people, when before it was definitely, when I was growing up, it said lack of knowledge, like ignorance.
So now it's an insult to black people. So now that it's changed to, the definition is changed to an insult to black people, you don't feel like it still don't hold no weight?
Well, because if the word cracker, the C word, doesn't really hold weight, because cracker was from, when they used to whip and they say, okay, they cracking our back, they crack you, so that's why they was the cracker.
Yeah, but I feel like cracker isn't a racist term. I never felt like that. And it doesn't have the historic value that nigga does, because niggas was directly, on black people, versus crackers was black, white. So my thing with the whole cracker statement is cracker is cracking down the whip, which means police.
It could be anybody.
Judges, people that.
Because when I was growing up, the police was the crackers, and it could be black or white, Hispanic,
and
whatever.
Not that we should be against people upholding the law, but I'm just keeping it real. If we be like, oh, the crackers outside,
yes,
that means the police is out the door.
Exactly.
Or that cracker gave him 20 years.
Yeah.
Not because he white.
He
could
who's
be
breaking
black.
down the law. Whoever
holding down that law and pressing it down,
is the
those
cracker.
are crackers.
Okay.
But niggas, we not using niggas. I mean, later on in time, some people may say that nigga outside and happen to be a white person. But then those are people who use nigga interchangeably with a male. But for the most part, your in-laws outside, you're not gonna be like, oh, them niggas just pulled up, like, because they ain't niggas.
Now, okay, because I could say I worked for a white family, and it was a property management company, and I worked for a white family. And while I was out handling something with the client, he basically said, why did they send this nigger here? And he said that, nigger, not nigga. Why did they send this nigger here? And I left. And when I told, my boss, and he was like, they literally broke down in tears, and was so sad that I experienced that. And my boss, he was 88 years old, so he grew up in those times. But marched with Martin Luther King as well. So they were even shocked to see that people are out here in the world still using, that terminology. So when it's used in that manner, yes, at the time, hell yeah, I was a lot younger than I am now, but I feel like we as a people just changed the meaning so many times that it just doesn't hold the value anymore. I just don't feel like it holds value. And it's said to you in a way that, you really feel like, dang, you really just gonna keep going in on me. But then those are also just words, so I don't feel like it hold no value.
I feel like nothing that somebody does intentionally to me, outside of spitting on me, that they're doing intention holds value to me personally. But I do think the historic meaning behind the word, the power it holds will always be forever a strong word, a very offensive word. Like, you can come to me dead this close to my face and say, nigger. You can be white as they come and say it in my face and you ain't get no response. I'm a homeowner as well as you. I got too many things to lose to let somebody trick me out of my spot in life. However, nigga, nigger, nigga, niggies, whatever you saying, I ain't hearing it. You can say everything under the sun. It don't move me. However, I do feel like, there are people that are not educated on the word, thus forth, using it willy-nilly. And my whole thing is I try to explain to my Caucasian friends, because I have a lot of them, I try to explain them because they always ask me about it. And I'm like, listen, I don't like the word. I try not to use it. And I was also, like you said, to allude to what you're saying, I was censored as a child. My mom didn't allow me to use that word. She don't want me to use it around her to this day. So when I heard rap songs, even as a black man, I know nigga ain't, nothing for me to say. But when I'm rapping the word, shout out I ain't saying it because guess what? My mama didn't play that. So, and if I as a black person can censor and find my way to stop saying that word, I feel like you as a Caucasian person who knows the power behind it, know the meaning, it's just not it. You can find a way to say it, because sometimes it's just like people like, well, I just get used to saying it, I slip. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, keep slipping, but when it go down, when you somewhere around me and you slip up and the people ready to jump on your head, I'm not jumping in the front like, no. He's one of the cool ones. No, he grew up around black people. I personally gave him a pass to say nigga. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. They finna beat you up and not me. Do. Oh, you with them too? Do. Don't have time. Sorry.
Nah, you get do.
So at the end of the day, I try to explain to my Caucasian friends, like, listen, I would appreciate if you don't use it. It offends me a little bit, because I just feel like there's so many other words why you suppressed to use it. And I also do feel like a lot of Caucasians don't feel like they have gotten close to you as a black person. They don't feel like you really accept them until you allow them to say it. I don't know what's the obsession with that one word when there's so many other words in the dictionary, but I feel like it's this secret validation thing that a lot of Caucasian people want. And I don't know why, but that's just my experience and how I see it. Anybody can feel free to correct me, but I advise, listen, do not say it. Now, if you slip up and say it around me, I'm going to take note, I'm going to hear it, and it does kind of doesn't make me feel great, but it's not going to get no extreme reaction out of me. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to hey, don't say that again. It just is what it is. But, however, beware of what you're saying and, what it could cause for you with most African Americans.
And there you go with that, because it's definitely, too, how you grew up. Because my white, husband, he grew up not saying the word. His family grew up not saying the word. So, he didn't say the word. And for anyone out there, it's up to us. You know what I'm saying? It's up to us, and it starts in the household. It definitely starts in the household. So if you're not educated on the word, you definitely should not say the word, because that's the biggest issue. The people who are saying the word aren't educated on the word. They just grew up out here, and listening to the music and things like that, but aren't educated. They may know that it's, it's a bad word, I'm not supposed to say it, but then some people in their mind is like the same thing as saying bitch or saying shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nigga.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? It's all in the swearing. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to say it. So I don't know why I'm not supposed to say this. I just know I'm not supposed to say it, because why we're not supposed to say the word bitch. You know what I'm saying? As a kid. I know that as a kid because right now I have an 8-year-old that sees that word as a curse word, because he says, oh, my brother, my other brother said the N-word, and I'm like, well, what's the N-word? We can't say it. It's a curse word. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, he doesn't know the background of the word.
Yeah.
He just knows that he's not supposed to say it. But at some point, we still have to educate our children, our family, our friends, our peers, everybody on that word. So then they could decide whether they're going to say it or not, because my husband to this day will not say the word, won't say it in music, won't say it in nothing. And to my knowledge, hasn't even said it in private.
Yeah, because he's well-rounded and educated and knowledgeable on the history and the effect it has. It's just that, but a lot of people, especially white people in particular, and if you believe in white privilege, are born into different circumstances. And when you are told from jump that you are the superior people, your way of life is the way, and people got to come through you, which is partly mostly true. If we be honest, white men typically, hold a lot of or majority of the power in America. And so when you look at it like that, a lot of those people don't feel like they have to be educated. Or why educate my child on black stuff in general when they're not black? They don't need black people. Black people need them. Not saying this literally, but a lot of people feel as such. Not necessarily racist, but a hint of prejudice or, superiority, that feeling that, okay, what I need to go get myself educated on black people for?
Well, let's talk about that, because at this point, a lot of people who are trying to protect their bloodlines is washing out a lot. Even the Indians at a certain point, the Native Americans were at a certain point, and still, because I watched a documentary just earlier, they're still trying to protect their bloodlines because of what happened, back in the day, and how, they can now get certain type of benefits, because we have friends who get benefits as Native Americans. And at a certain point in time in the world, in America, that wasn't a good thing to broadcast your Native Americanness. And now with all the mixing, we really can't, because back then, if you had a drop, they said a drop 1%, bitch, of black in you, the black, what I'm saying, you could be all 99% European, whatever they black. If you got a shade of black, they labeled you as black. And so I just feel now with what we have going on, we can't even pinpoint, because we mixing it up so much. We can't even pinpoint, and we're washing out a lot of this white supremacy only because we're mixing up so much. We do have a lot of people who are still stuck in not dating outside their race and things like that. But I just feel it's breaking down a lot, though, and a lot of white supremacy, white racist people are afraid right now because it's washing out. All the
and Kanye West is giving them power with his White Lives Matter shit. There it is.
And you feel Kanye West?
Yes, he put a battery in their back. He sure did.
Not a battery in their back.
Yes. No, seriously.
But also giving us the opportunities to have these types of conversations and
yeah, but it's a different way. He has a very large voice. He could have went on a platform. He could have got on the Breakfast Club and said, "Man, y'all know Black Lives Matter out there smuggling. They out here scheming and scamming and embezzling." You could have did that, talking about the organization, and still represented it. Still represented.
I do hate
being a black man. You could have still said yes. Ahmaud Arbery, all these different other people did get killed at the hands of white killers who did not get the justice that we see fit. It was many ways to go about that, but he decided to make a shirt, profit off it. His influence is largely in fashion. He strategically went viral, and now he is paying for those sins because people are not going for it, honestly. And I'm
definitely not buying no shirt. I ain't going for
I wasn't going to buy it even if it said Black Lives Matter, the truth be told. I mean, I got a little wristband and stuff, but I ain't buying no $200 Black Lives Matter shirt, bitch. I get my own black tee and steam press that bitch. But, no, and and then Candace Owens, like, I can't with her. She is a clip, a chop. So Candace Owens, she's basically a chop. She has 2 or 3 points throughout history of her career that she's made points valid points on behalf of black people. But she really made a career out of cooning. And those of you who don't know what cooning, don't know what cooning is, look it up. It's common sense. Everybody should know it. If you don't know it, don't listen. Nah, I'm joking. But cooning is just going out your way to appeal to white folks and higher places to get further in life, or with the, the intention or expectation to get further. And for her to basically, from what I see, dispel that Black Lives Matter and, a lot of this stuff is in people's heads. She said a lot of crazy things over the time. Why is she filing discrimination lawsuits on companies for not giving her fair pay, not hiring her? Well, then, bitch, the struggle. So I just can't rock with nothing she say. And also, I wanted to put a pin in your conversation earlier. Okay, so your husband is white. That means you have white in-laws. And, we had this conversation privately, but I'm bringing it up, obviously, because they haven't heard it. Didn't you have some kind of conversation of the nature, you and your partner, during the time when Black Lives Matter kind of came about on the scene, and he felt like they weren't supportive enough and not vocal enough, which means kind of to some people that you're complicit in the racism. And I believe, if I'm speaking on turn, you correct me, that you and him, more so him, was offended by it. And now think about if Kanye West would have did that then. Or, that message is still the same. Black Lives Matter, the organization, has kind of been dethroned. But that's still very much the same message. So with that being said, do you think in supporting that, or if you got that shirt and you threw it on, do you think your in-laws, who obviously didn't necessarily agree with the whole Black Lives Matter at the beginning, y'all had to educate them on that? Do you think they see you wear a White Lives Matter shirt? You think they going back and doing the whole research, looking up what Kanye West is talking about or not? Or it's like, yes, he finally converted over to us.
Ooh.
He left the niggers behind.
I
love them.
I believe they would definitely have eyebrows up at me and think that
looking
I'm trying to be
crazy.
some kind of funny, looking at me crazy, because I've never even done like a Black Lives Matter shirt or a hoodie around. And I do have a Black History Year, and we have spoken. I spoke to my mother-in-law, and we had a very heart-to-heart conversation about her lack of, knowledge on the whole issue of the systemic racism, my bad. But we had a whole conversation about how she just, never ever even thought about it and didn't even think it was ever going on, and thought we had, and felt like, all of what we've been through in the past had been nipped in the bud and it was all good to go.
Yeah, because some people who live great lives, especially people like them, because I met them, they're so loving, so caring, they really don't know.
And she didn't understand the white privilege. She was like, "It's no way I'm privileged. I work hard for my shit." Like that. But then when I started breaking down, she obviously knew for herself after she's been doing research that, I didn't realize that if a Black woman went in that room with me, then I would have got a job over that Black woman. You know what I'm saying? Or
exactly. So you did
be.
So much work in these years of being in your relationship to shape their lives and educate them on something that they were ignorant on, not because they're ignorant people or bad people.
No,
just because, like I said, they didn't have to.
Yeah,
they don't have to learn about certain things, especially once you get a certain level of income, certain level of financial success, and you white, like, the privilege is coming automatic. They don't have to learn about that. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm more so saying is that, so if you wear that shirt, and this is the case for many families, you wear that shirt, that's undoing all that work.
That's true.
Because trust and believe, somewhere far, far deep in the back of a lot of people's mind, when that came, a lot of non-Black people's mind, was like, it's a stretch. Like, it's only been a couple of people got killed. Like, I know how people think. Because honestly, not to flip the subject, because I'm not taking away from it and taking away relieving the police and systemic racism from.
Well, they only look at what's public too.
I'm not relieving them of accountability, but let's be clear. I have the biggest problem, or a bigger problem, with Chicago. Like, goddamn, all them people killing each other, and and I hate to say Black on Black crime, because nobody says white on white crime when it's white
Asian
people.
on Asian crime.
They don't say that, but for lack of better words, you know, black men killing black men in the streets, senseless. Like,
It's a lot more common too.
It's getting the hell out of hand. So it's so many other issues I think we as black people should focus on and work on. But that is one that to me, that I feel is so unnecessary with the police killings and all the other things that we already fighting against ourselves. We're already fighting against poverty. We're already fighting against the lopsided education system, the prison system, the judicial system, like all these different things that black people have endured largely because like systemic racism, largely because the after effects of slavery. But we're trying to bounce back and recover from that. And I do feel like some black people take it way too far and want an excuse for everything. And it's like, nobody cares, really. Get up on your ass and get it. Even though we did have a way, way, way in the back start, rough beginning, snatched and thrown over here. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, you only got one life to live. So you do have to get on it and stop making excuses, even though we know it's real. Don't let that be your downfall, because there's a lot of black people out here making and eating, living good, raising their family, giving them a better life. But back to what I was saying is just that I feel like, it's so many other things, but I do feel like Black Lives Matter is a movement, is very important, was very needed for the esteem of young black kids, for, people who needed a reason to hope, people who needed a reason to march. Like, it's so much going on in this world, and I feel like Kanye West, to be who he is, what?
But what about this? Because I just thought about this. It just came to me from the divine or something like that. I just realized, because I'm looking at my pictures of my kids. Do you feel like Kanye kids got any influence on this? Because what if he got his kids saying to him, because I could definitely hear North over there, why does it always have to be this and that? Why, if daddy, you're black and mommy's white or whatever, why can't it just be all lives matter? Why white lives can't matter too? You don't think them kids had some influence on this? Because you think about his kids?
If his kids had influence on it, he wouldn't be doing it.
Okay.
Because, like, to be honest, I hate to say this, I love Kanye West, but this, at this point, is an embarrassment to his entire family, his former family, his ex's family. It's an embarrassment to the Kardashians, and they white. Like, this has been an overall flop. This whole week of media none of it has been good. I feel like Kanye has managed to be in good graces of majority of people. I feel like all he cares about is being in the graces of, fashion people, particularly like white fashion people. For example, he went at the girl Gabby, who was the editor of Vogue, went crazy at her. Picked her out because she was overweight and black, in my opinion, because there was many people that had negative things to say about his show. Mm-hmm. But then, beforehand, as a friend of mine pointed out to me, which a white friend of mine pointed out, was like, he'll be apologizing by the end of the day because she connected with Anna Wintour. He not going to make his face dirty with Anna Wintour because she is the queen, the say-all, be-all of fashion. Once Anna Wintour cut the cord on you, nobody will publish you. Nobody, like, she cut the cord, you done. Mm-hmm. What he did, open them lips up and apologize. How many times you seen Kanye apologize in his career?
Not a lot.
Once.
Yeah.
Her. So he apologized. He make his face back with Anna Wintour, but now he proceeding to run down on Puffy, laying out Boosie, which I don't even like Boosie. I can't stand him and the things he stand for, but ran down Puffy, Boosie, his ex-wife, just everybody. He ain't making no apologies, none of them, talking about Chris getting smashed by Drake. I mean, all kind of disrespect. And he ain't backpedaling on that. And these are all strong, powerful people in the industry.
Yeah.
Half of them millionaires. But he gonna make his face clean with that white fashion lady. So that's why I feel like a lot of times this is a publicity stunt, and I know he loved them kids, but I don't think they're in consideration. And I also think that he is mentally ill, so, that's something to take in consideration, but not too much, because he remains busy and stays on top with all the many things on his schedule without proper management, security, or nothing. He runs at his own beat. He should know better, do better. I don't know. I think this is a long topic, because it's just so many things that, when we get into racism, microaggressions.
Yeah, because, racism too, because we're, my mom, I was having a conversation with my mom earlier about we're racist against our own people, because that's another thing, the colorism. And then you got white people who's racist against other white people, and it's just a lot in our own prejudice. You know, we're prejudiced against our own people. Even us, we got prejudice against certain people of our own races. So race that runs real deep, and I definitely want to get a caller in on that, because I want to get a caller in just to see if we could find someone out there who actually wear a White Lives Matter purchase that expensive as White Lives Matter shirt and wear it.
Yes, and I'm telling you, microaggressions, if y'all don't know what that word is, please look that up. That is the vocabulary word of the night. Microaggressions. It is a way to carry out subtle yet loud ideas without, owning them and taking accountability. It's kind of like, I'm going to do something where you get it. It's racist, but I'm not going to call you, hey, nigger, but my shirt calling it to you. So with that being said, I think microaggressions, keyword, listen to that. That is what this shirt is bringing about. I think this shirt is causing a lot of division. People may say Black Lives Matter causes division, but I think it, in my perspective, not because I'm black, just being, objective to me, I feel like it's highlighting something that most people seem to not know. Because the way they treating black people and doing black people out here in these streets, police particularly, and not holding people accountable, is leading others to believe Black lives don't matter. So it's a need to hype it up and say, yeah, Black lives matter. It's just like somebody gave the analogy that if my house on fire on the street and the fire department come, are they gonna put water on all the houses? Those houses not on fire. Let's water that house right there. That's why the whole Black Lives Matter thing is even a movement in itself. So obviously we're going to need a part 2 to continue this conversation, but I just think that, in cap, I don't know exactly how you feel, but I don't feel like that shirt came with any good conversation. It did start conversations, but honestly I think it does more damage than, I can't even see a positive
healing
point.
Okay, I got you. So you say more damage than healing, and I could agree on that. And if we could find, that's why I kind of want to get other people outlook, because if we could find the person who actually has reasoning on wearing that shirt, or even think it's trash, you know what I'm saying? If I could get, because I know people, so let's see if we can get some people.
Yeah, let's get some callers next on part 2.
Yeah, so y'all out there watching, we seen y'all commenting on the other stuff, so keep commenting, keep liking, keep sharing. Keep watching. We love you guys. This is Preaching to the Choir.
Preaching to the Choir.
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Peace.